Hello everybody and welcome to Spider-Man 2002 or Spider-Man the movie or just Spider-Man. It's the Spider-Man movie that was a movie tie-in for the first Sam Raimi film back in 2002.
Activision have not changed their logo since this. They still use this one for Crash Twin. They still use this one for the Crash Insane trilogy.
You're talking about the same company who releases the Call of Duty series. Expecting them to really change much?
And just like the game that
even their logo's still the same. It's been the one since the late 70s.
That's exactly it.
Anyway.
Activision are the only people even less creative than EA when it comes to their first-party stuff.
This intro. Jesus.
Throwing red things in your face because excitement. Anyway, this game was made by Treyarch, specifically the same developer that made the PS1 game that did it for us. However,
we're just jumping here a bit later here before doing Enter Electra.
Not just that, but you're probably wondering, why am I doing this one since I don't typically do Spider-Man stuff? Well, that's because of a particular thing. Jova, would you mind telling us what specifically is about the Xbox version that I'm doing?
Okay, here's the lowdown. The Xbox version has special content that is not in any other console version. Even worse, it's content that actually gets referred to in all versions of the second Spider-Man game. That being,
and gets kinda copy-pasted in Shadow Dimension.
And yet, kinda gets retconned in certain versions of Spider-Man 3. Basically, that is the inclusion of Kraven.
Yep.
The Hunter.
One of Spider-Man enemies.
I wasn't even aware of it because I've owned the GameCube version since it first came out, so I wasn't even aware that the Xbox version had an exclusive level.
Pedro, how is this 720p and 60 frames?
Because I'm
It's an Xbox game.
That's because I'm playing it on my Xbox 360. It upscales it.
So, cool. Yes, I freaking love this.
This particular game and Spider-Man 2 are among the selection of games that are backwards compatible with the Xbox 360. Alright, before we start the game, we'll do the tutorial. And cue...
Greetings. Welcome to the tutorial. Yeah, I know.
Bruce Campbell.
Yep.
Whole superhero thing. Blah blah blah. Well,
I love you, Bruce.
Bruce Campbell is quite possibly one of the best video game narrators you'll get for the movie series.
Oh, I think he's even in the first Amazing Spider-Man game.
Yeah, he's the boxer who gives him the name. Sorry, the referee.
Alright, so Bruce is our tutorial character.
Your compass will point straight towards your next objective. Up on the compass means forward to you. You follow me? Well, stop following me or I'll have you arrested.
Sorry, Bruce. You're just so attractive.
Now, this doohickey is the hype man.
So this is kind of reminiscent of the 2000 PS1 Spider-Man game, isn't it?
Same team, so...
Well, actually, no. Neversoft made the PS1 game.
Oh, really?
I believe I think
you're right, actually.
Were the one that did Enter Electra, I think.
Oh, okay.
Enter Electra is done by another team.
That's weird, though, because as this is about to confirm for me, this gameplay is clearly an evolution of the 2001.
I can actually clear this up.
2000.
I can clear this up. Treyarch were actually the ones who ported the original Dreamcast Spider-Man to their consoles, so that explains how they had the know-how for the control schemes. Think about it like how the team that ported Arkham City to the Wii U eventually went on to do Arkham Origins.
Or how Sanzaro Games remastered the first three Sly games and then made the fourth one.
Also, of course, Peter is voiced by Tobey Maguire.
Just like in the movie, yeah.
Thankfully, though, Tobey Maguire gets to expand his wings a lot more in these games.
Yeah,
especially in the second
game.
I don't know. I gotta be honest, guys. From what voice clips I've heard of Tobey Maguire across these games, I don't think he sounds all good.
You only listen to voice clips, though. I mean, yeah, first
that's all I can go off to over his performance in these games.
Anyway, like Jova said, fortunately, Toby has a much better writing to work with in this particular game, much better than the movie, if you ask me.
I especially love in Spider-Man 3 how he mocks Rhino during his fight too.
Personally, I still prefer Tom Holland, but anyway, that's a topic for another day. Anyway,
we wouldn't get Tom Holland until years later.
I know, but whatever. That topic for another day. The point is,
swinging.
Yeah.
You're still swinging on the moon, though.
Don't let it go to your head, okay?
So here's the thing: in this swinging though, you gradually ascend.
Yep.
The entire way.
Basically,
But
like Bruce was
also why you have a height meter.
just like Bruce was saying. Basically, it's a matter of following where you're.
Here's a little party favor for you. A combo power-up. Try to locate as many of these babies as you can.
Or just use the koala cheat so you can unlock all of them.
Speaking of cheats, Pedro, are you going to be showing...
These are going to be like a mainstay of most of the Spider-Man games.
So Pedro, are you going to be showing off the infamous cheat?
Infamous cheat?
The girl next door one.
The girl next door. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my god, you got one of the newer versions that removed that, didn't you?
I got this from Amazon like a couple years ago.
What does Girl Next Door do? Remove all the clothes of everybody?
No, Girl Next Door allows you to play as Mary Jane.
Oh no! You can do that. You just need to put in the thing. You can.
I get that. Apparently, though, it got controversial because of the kissing scene, and so apparently newer versions removed it.
Oh, okay. Well, I do know that this copy I'm playing has the Mary Jane font. I just haven't tested it myself. Anyway, the point is, I wasn't even aware that particular model swap had the name. But anyway, the point is.
Well, that's the name for like the hack that you type in to get it. Or do you not have to type them in this version?
Yeah, you do. You didn't. Oh, yeah, you're right. Actually, yeah. Now that I'm actually remembering, yeah, Girl Next Door is the.
Is this also the version where you can unlock Stan Lee?
No.
No, that's Amazing Spider-Man 1, and I think that was DLC.
Really?
Anyway, like Bruce said, it's all about following the destination meter, which basically points to where you're supposed to go, and the height meter. Red is where you are, blue is where the destination is. So basically, make sure you're not just on the same.
Cool.
Make sure you're not just where but it also has to be in the same height, like this.
So, surprised not many Spider-Man games follow with this height meter. It's really intuitive and comes in handy.
Yep.
Thankfully, this would become a staple of the series, at least for these trilogies.
Well, not on the games that I played, but I haven't touched any of the licensed games, so yeah.
I know you. You want fast. You want it now. Beep, beep,
Me.
Bruce Campbell predicted millennials.
Wall, you'll web zip in the direction you're crawling. Huh? Who's your daddy?
Anyway, yeah, like Bruce said, I can press the left trigger so I can quickly zip through.
There's more. If you press the left trigger while you're running, you'll web zip in the direction you're moving. Wowzer.
Wowzer.
Now, if you're standing still and you press the left trigger, you'll web zip straight up as long as there's something to stick to above you.
So
Why the left? Oh, the left trigger. I thought it was the left on the directional pad. Okay, it makes more sense now.
I'm getting all weepy-eyed just thinking about it. So let's get a little fancy, shall we? If you hold the Y button and quickly press the left trigger, you can suspend yourself from a web line and slowly raise or lower yourself.
It's a classic Spider-Man ability that has shown up in pretty much all Spider media.
Yeah.
So that's
Alright, go ahead, Pedro.
Oh, unfortunately, the load screen for some reason loaded me out of the ceiling, so I'll have to. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen. Well, that was a pretty full day, huh? So look, if you need to go over this tutorial, or if you just plain missed me, which who could blame you? You can access basic training anytime you want.
No, how can I do this without you, Bruce?
Good luck.
TOX Bruce Campbell.
Anyway,
gotta give him credit for a guy who was just a cameo. He's quite the ascended extra in supplementary material.
So yeah, swinging like this does not cost you. Swinging like this does not cost you any web meter. Only attacks within web cost you your web meter. The blue bar.
Well, Joe, you have to understand, Campbell is like a recurring fan favorite of Sam Raimi. In all of his works, he's present in some way.
Oh, how about this?
Mm-hmm.
You can jump
One of my favorite was Autolycus in Xena.
twice. Tap, tap. See, A double jump can sometimes
Tap
get you
that.
on difficult spots.
All right, double jump.
Anyway, basically, believe it or not, when you actually play some of the hacks, there are actually different story modes for them, and mainly the Green Goblin one. However, the idea is that basically whatever costume Peter changes into is whatever you did the hack based
Good
on.
luck.
In fact, you can actually do a hack where both the designs of Spider-Man and the Green Goblin are changed into what was originally going to be the concept for them in the movies.
Nice. All right, so there are other tutorials, but I'm not gonna do all of them because that would be a bit too much in terms of.
So what cheats are gonna insert? Sorry.
Koala, aka unlocks all my combos immediately, so I don't have to go around collecting them all.
Gotta collect them all.
If you got the cheat right, you'll hear the Green Goblin laughing.
Oh yeah,
What if you get it wrong?
Nothing.
I think you hear like a buzz
Then you
sound or
are.
something.
I want it. What about J. Jonah Jameson? What if he starts shouting, "I want pictures
Unfor-
of Spider-Man"?
Unfortunately, dwelves, you're gonna have to wait till the sequel to this game before you can see him. Sorry.
No.
Oh, by the way, you can also choose whether or not you want to use the D-pad or the left analog stick.
Which I have no idea why the hell anyone would want to play this game with the D-pad, but whatever.
Probably me. I usually, surprisingly enough, in a lot of games, I'm more comfortable with the D-pad.
Yeah, this was back in the day when a lot of people were still getting used to the idea of the analog stick.
Don't so.
Yeah, that's the classic Bonesaw, not the actual Bonesaw from the movie, but whatever.
Oh, no
Also, this
anti-savage
music.
bugger.
So yeah, as you can see, it's basically the same story.
It's Spider-Man's origin story.
No, I mean in terms of even the character models clearly reflect the characters from the movies. Aside from, of course, Bonesaw. For some reason, they went back to the original comic design there, but whatever. Anyway,
Around them, I guess.
I don't know, but this is supposed to be tie into the movie. Shouldn't it reflect the movie? Anyway, but the point is, yeah.
Oh, so this is the point where Peter is experimenting with the powers.
Basically, this is the part where he goes on his
Tirade
chase in pursuit of the killer.
Okay, in the original, in the movie, he just finds him by, he basically swings around a bit and he finds him because he's still in a...
By night, also.
Yeah.
Also, high Activision.
Yeah.
Destroy the Activision building.
There's also a Triarch building. Anyway...
I think there's a mission in one of the games where actually, yeah, you do that by destroying everything that's their merchandise.
Alright, let's check the combat controls. There we go. Those are all the combos you can do. I'll be showing some of them later on. Anyway, the point is, yeah. In this version, the thief is actually part of a gang called the Skulls, and we're supposed to interrogate the Skulls to see if we can find where he is.
Pokemon ripped this off.
And here is a little side quest that you can do. This woman is being mugged by these Skulls, so let's save her. There we go.
Yeah, the side quests are integrated a bit more in the sequel games where you actually
Hold on, I love
have
this one.
Don't worry about it, lady. I gotta go.
Wait, before you go, I lost my purse on one of the rooftops around here.
On a different rooftop?
Yes.
Different from this one?
Yes.
Are you serious? Are you taking some kind of tour of city rooftops?
Yes.
I'll find your purse for
Good.
you.
Everyone
That's
has their
actually
fetish, I guess.
Yeah.
Who are you to judge?
Oh, trust me, Tio, trust me, Tio. The NPC dialogue just gets better with each game. For as many problems as... Well, actually, never mind. That was an egregious error with Spider-Man 3, but I'll get to that later.
Anyway, yeah. They never even give you a hint of where the purse is. They just say it's in a different building. Fortunately, it's not that far. The problem is that if you don't know in advance where the purse is, you can kind of wander off a bit because, I mean, you have to know the specific...
Hey, found the Treyarch building.
No, it's surprisingly, no, it's not in the Treyarch building. It's right here.
No,
It's
I'm
funny.
saying I found the Treyarch building.
Yeah.
I better hurry so I don't lose the trail of that killer.
That's actually good for you in the sequel, Dibs, because yeah, in the sequel, you definitely are going to do a lot of searching for particular buildings.
Alright, there's your purse, bitch.
Purse back.
Thank you so much. This city could use more masked vigilantes like you.
Wink, wink.
Try to stay off rooftops from now on.
I love how even Spider-Man's just like, wait, you actually want more mass vigilantes? Okay.
So, as you can probably tell, we can swing throughout most of New York.
Yeah. We can.
And there's no poisonous gas below.
Unlike the game that came after this, though, there is no open world structure that was introduced with Spider-Man 2. So you'll have to wait for Joe's playthrough of that before we see that.
Yeah, I'll be quite honest. I forgot that there were side quests in this game because of that.
Yeah, one thing that I didn't do the tutorial for the locking on. So basically, you can actually lock on the enemies. The game actually does have a lock on system. Basically, will lock on to the nearest enemy you are, and so you can specifically focus on that enemy. It becomes very useful to find. For example, if you're fighting a boss, this lock on feature becomes incredibly useful to finding out where the boss went to.
And don't worry, audience, it's not making it easy for you because bosses can put up quite a fight.
Just imagining now what the new game from Insomniac's going to be like. I wonder if you could actually swing through all of New York City.
Yeah, I think so.
Crash through buildings and leave civilians all terrified.
Something like that. They're keeping the open world structure, if I remember correctly.
Since I'm handling that game for the channel, who's doing Spider-Man 3?
Not me. I'm doing this one, so...
Didn't we have this conversation before?
I'm talking about Spider-Man 3. Well, to be fair, there are two different versions, actually. The PS2 and Wii version are actually quite a bit different from the PS3 and 360 versions.
I don't know if I'll have a PS3 by the time we get to that one, so I'll have to... unless I can do the PS2 version.
Sure, yeah, you can do the PS2 version of Spider-Man.
Well, I gotta say though, one of the QTEs in Spider-Man 3, one of the QTE fails in that is the most hilarious.
Yeah.
Basically, you're rescuing a woman from a burning building, and Spider-Man has to try.
A carjacker killed an old man earlier today. The killer's a skull. Where is he?
Can you sound a bit more intimidating, Toby?
I agree. Like, come on.
See what I mean about Toby's lackluster performance in these games? To be honest,
I didn't know that because I'm used to the Italian dub, so I didn't know how Toby actually acted originally.
Yeah, mainly this game, though, was the rough...
Oh, and by the way, audience, you're probably noticing that this game also does the same thing that Hulk 2003 does. Even though the game is rendered in 4:3, and every time we go into a cutscene, it creates these black bars to simulate a widescreen. Guys, you rendered the game in full screen.
That's not how it works.
Exactly.
But don't you see, Shiro, it gives that cinematic vibe.
Even Beyond Two Souls did this, even though it's a 2013 game. Anyway, whatever. The point is, that skull just told us that the thief is in the warehouse. So let's go to that warehouse.
Anyway, what was I saying about thing before the cutscene happened?
I don't know.
The PS2 version of Spider-Man 3.
Wait, it was...
There was an FMV. There's a QTE where Spider-Man has to try and go safely down to the ground, which is burning. But if you mess up the QTE, he just face plants onto the ground like a
Yeah.
But the person he saves is like the scariest face ever.
Yeah.
Alright, so at the end of each level you get points depending on how well you did. And the more points you get, the more stuff you'll be able to unlock in the secret store. Or you can just do a little trick of going straight, using the level select cheat and go straight to the credits, and you'll unlock up almost everything immediately.
Mm-hmm.
What's this door doing open? People gotta be more careful. The cops could show up at any time.
Alright, so this level introduces stealth. Bruce, if you don't mind. At the moment.
Anytime.
See those heavily shadowed areas? Whenever you're in a shadowed spot like that, you become invisible to the bad guys.
I am the knight.
I am Spider-Man.
Hey Bruce, can you?
Oh, go ahead.
Hey Bruce, can you take in and become the main character since you're a better actor than Toby?
They kinda expanded this mechanic for Spider-Man Noir in Shattered Dimension.
Alright, so like you said, basically pay attention to your face icon in the top left corner. If it's blue like that, that means that right now you're in a spot where the enemies cannot see you. So it's all about trying your best to stay in the shadows.
Can you do automatic takedowns if you take...
By the way, this is... hold on. By the way, this is what I'm talking about. I think I'm about to go on the ceiling right now, aren't I? No? Okay. There you go. Notice now that when I get into the... There you go. See, it's even the same way he goes on top on the field.
It's very similar. I guess they took some inspiration choices from the first PS1 Spider-Man.
That's why I made a mistake. Like it just looks like a game that was made by the same team. Anyway.
Oh, it's okay, Mako.
Yeah, Pedro was asking, can you make automatic takedowns if you take the enemy by surprise?
Yes. If you take the enemy by surprise, you'll be able to get a stealth bonus at the end of the And yes, you can.
No, you can kill them in one hit if you take them from behind.
Unfortunately, no, because the game does not have any actual. There's no CQC in this game. You cannot. Yeah, basically, I just said fuck it. Yeah, stealth
failed.
See, the problem with this game is the problem with the stealth in this game is it's one of its weaker features for me. It's when it comes to hiding in the shadows, that's fine. But when it comes to actually, because you still need to defeat the enemies to get across, so
usually the idea is to web bind them.
Yeah, the problem is that, remember, Jova, that costs web, and it's not exactly the most reliable method to deal with the enemies, because if I run out of web and replenishing icons, I'm just going to be forced to have to beat them with brute force. I think the game could have benefited from more stealth moves, like a way.
Don't you have isn't there like a cheat that gives you infinite web power?
There is, yes, and I think I'm using it even. But well, I'm trying to, it is.
And then the villains developed stomach aches and
that's another thing. They should have just made web infinite by default to reflect the movie as well.
In later games, they kinda just drop the limit amount of web power.
Spider-Man 2 does it a lot better.
It does.
Also, Toby gets better in Spider-Man 2 voice was.
Well, I don't know, Jova. From the clips I've seen, it's kind of hilarious still to this.
We'll get to it.
Oh no, Dr. Connor's class.
Aunt May. I hope she's okay.
That's from which game?
The PC version of
Spider-Man 2, the pizza mission.
Oh wait, PC version.
There's a PC version of Spider-Man 2. Check out Dark Lord Shadow's 1's review, Joe, if you want. Anyway, the point is...
the PC version of this game is the same as the console one, so why did they change the PC one for Spider-Man 2?
Is there a PC version of this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Does it have the Craven level?
I don't know.
Jova?
No, from what I heard, it's really only in the Xbox version.
It's only in the Xbox version.
I really don't understand why. I mean, if it was not on the GameCube, I could understand that as like a space limitation, because games on the GameCube had to be only 1.5 gigabytes, and there would be no point in adding a second disc to the game just for that level. But the other consoles used actual full-blown DVD, so I have no idea why the PS2 didn't get it.
Stop right there, murderer!
Criminals come.
Let him through. I got the door fuse, boss. He ain't getting through.
So yeah, in this version, instead of being alone, the guy has brought his entire gang, so we had to beat the crap out of everybody.
Get fuse open door.
Oh, apparently there was also a Game Boy Advance version of port, but obviously it's gonna be like a 2D side scroller.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that one is made by a different team.
Yeah,
it was made by Digital Eclipse.
Oh.
Which now has become Backbone Entertainment.
I'm not a fan of them, honestly. Their Sonic ports, emulation ports were...
Yeah, we mostly did handheld games.
Their emulation ports of Sonic games were... Fortunately, Sega eventually wisened up and started using M2 for those.
They did some... Oh, they seem to be the one... Hold on.
Oh yeah, by the way, you can use the punch button to throw certain things at the enemies, like barrels and tires and stuff like that.
They're partially responsible for the Sonic Rivals game.
Also, the music in this game, once again, another game that suffers from Rise of Lyric syndrome. The music is just bland orchestra that just blends in, and I immediately forget all about it right after I'm done.
Which is weird, because the opening theme for this game actually did have an interesting synth sound to him, so...
Ah!
Yeah.
He tried to kill it with a forklift.
Is that... are we suddenly Metroid Other M?
No, if we were Metroid RAM, Spider-Man would stop nothing at talking about how awesome he is, and anyway.
The baby.
On the ground, try looking up. Duh. See,
yeah, duh.
Air vents and ceilings or walls when you're having trouble figuring out where to go next.
Alright, so basically, like Bruce pretty much told us, we can go through the vents, and let's see where we can get.
Anything stop me. I have to find a way to shut off the power so I can get through.
Alright, very good, Toby. You're now start saying all of your lines with that kind of enthusiasm.
Now, just in case you don't know already,
So, basically, do what you do in Spider-Man 2 and onward.
standing next to it,
What, do a dry, emotionless speech near the middle?
Come on, guys, let's not devolve this commentary into Toby.
Come on, Dwebs, let's not devolve this into a continuous argument.
Yeah.
Don't press that button.
Guy who killed Uncle Ben.
I'm a person.
Could you imagine if you pressed the wrong button?
Now, Shira, what have we told you about pressing the wrong button?
They've taken a fuse out of the control panel.
Yeah, I'll press the Ron button and on comes Ron Weasley.
No! That's the button that will kill everybody. Try again.
Not the Ron Weasley button.
So, right, yeah, the wrong button. So,
Besides
I
Dweebs,
pressed that.
besides Dweebs, the Weasley are a popular family. We'll find someone else to replace it.
Anyway, what's happening is one of the, like we saw in the cutscene, one of the bandits stole the fuse of the door controls, and he locked himself in this room. Now, I have no idea why the hell Peter can't just, literally destroy. It's a steel door. It looked like a wooden door to me, but whatever.
Besides, Jova, the building is very old and anything, even if it was a steel door, it will be easy to take down. And we're dealing with the fact that this is not like an American building. So
considering Peter has super strength, I don't really understand why can't he just, punch the...
Also,
go ahead.
Also, this is an American building. Every door and window will be like a paper thin.
There was also the part where the game blatantly just said, it's an electric door. Like, he even snarks about it.
An electric door. Sure it is.
Yeah, he snarked about it. Did you miss that? Oh, that's funny.
Out of my way, please. You're in my way, sir.
Oh, bitch, get out the way.
There we go.
This fuse should get that door open.
Alright, let's get the door
by
open.
the magically disappearing corpse.
This is where the fuse goes. Now I've got you.
Alright.
Now I've got you right.
Watch out, Toby. Don't overact too much.
Alright, guys, the joke's outdated and
No, sorry.
If there's a really, really bad delivery, though, Jova, don't expect us to ignore it.
Very well, when that happens.
Anyone see that?
I couldn't because the camera loves to shift behind the enemy.
Yeah, because for as much as we try to avoid,
Question, Pedro.
If they get overly long, we can't ignore it.
Question, Pedro. Do later enemies which have firearms trying to shoot you if you're on the ceiling?
Yes, they will. There you go. See, I just did a uppercut.
Oh, well, the enemy just died. Oh.
Let's replenish our life, I guess. There we go.
So do you have also meanings to extend your life bar later on?
No.
Relatively short. Alright.
Alright, so that was...
Next part we'll take on, I believe, the first boss.
Yes, aka Uncle Ben's killer. So, see you then.
Alright.
See ya.
See ya.